Hello, I'm Lyle Lee Jenkins. We're talking about helping English teachers save time scoring papers. It's crazy and it's simple, and we're going to learn a lot. The aim is to have better results. That means the students are better writers and the teacher spends less time scoring them. Let me say that again. The aim is to have better student writers and the teacher spends less time scoring the papers. That's what we're after. So I'm going to give you some steps for this. First, make a list of the writing traits that will be taught. In younger grades, there's 6. That's the most common. As they go through the grades, the highest I've seen is 12. I'm sure there's more, but make a list of the writing traits that will be taught and you want students to utilize by the end of the school year. Here's the hard one. Replace your matrix rubrics, which are inaccurate, with accurate dichotomous rubrics. Replace the rubrics with dichotomous rubrics. We can do it. Here's an example. Here's an example written by a teacher in Illinois, and it's the development of an essay. So she made a dichotomous rubric for each of the 6 writing traits. On the website is a blank one. You can download it and you can make it how the way that you want it, the way you want to evaluate it, but you would make a rubric for each of the traits that you want kids to know by the end of the school year. There's the blank one. It is on the website, crazysimpleeducation.com. Scroll down a little bit, you'll see the blank graphs. Dichotomous rubrics are right there. Here's the story behind it. I was visiting Jeff Burgard's middle school science class, and he was teaching kids the dichotomous key. It's common in science classes. You pick up a leaf. Wonder what tree did this come from? You answer yes and no questions and you land on the name of the tree. You're fishing. You pull a fish out. Is it legal to keep this one? What kind of fish is it? You answer yes and no questions about that fish and you'll find out what kind of fish it is. It's for rocks. It's been used for years in science, and it's an ideal, accurate rubric. Now, Jeff had a habit of when kids wrote reports from lab reports or whatever they were doing, when they handed in their paper, when he was using matrix rubrics, they were to estimate what's rubric score was Jeff going to give them. They were about 20% accurate on what the final rubric score was going to be. When he changed to dichotomous rubrics for lab reports, they were about 85% accurate. They knew exactly what the answer was going to be because they could follow the yes and no questions. Saving teacher time. The dichotomous rubric saves teacher time. First of all, because students have a much better idea of what's expected. They get it. Secondly, the teacher is teaching one trait at a time and assessing one trait at a time in the student written documents. That's in the beginning. Later, we will be testing and assessing multiple traits, but first it's one. Saving teacher time. The writing assignment, usually 50 to 80 words. The trait to be assessed is selected after all the papers are turned in. So we're talking about later on in the year when the students have had a lot of instruction and practice in writing. So all the papers are handed in. Let's say you're using only the 6th grade writing. We're in the second half of the school year. The students write. A student comes to the front of the room with a 6-sided die, rolls it against the wall someplace, bounces back. The kids all are gathered around to look at it. And whatever number comes up on the die, that is the only trait that the teacher scores on that assignment. It's the only one. Now, so what do the teachers report? They report they spend half as much time scoring papers as before when they're only looking for one trait on the paper instead of everything. But then here's the surprising part. They report better writing. Even in the AP courses, which has a very accurate measurement of writing, They report better writing with this. It's what we talked about in the beginning. How do we get better writing from our students and save the teacher time? Well, we talked about the first part. Right now, saving teacher time, we're only scoring one trait at a time. So here's why it doesn't work the way we're doing it now. When you read a stack of papers from students and you're looking at all 6 traits at once, by the time you finish, in fact, long before you finish scoring the papers on the weekend, your head is mush. It's too much to keep track of. What in the world do they need to improve on? But when teachers score a stack of student papers for only one trait, the next day in their instruction, the instruction is extremely precise because the teachers know exactly what students need to know to become better writers. That's why we get better results, because the teaching is precise from a teacher who knows exactly what it is that they need. The evaluation of education really needs to be twofold for everything we do. Better results is half of the question. Do we get better results? The other half is, did the new initiative save time? It's common knowledge that publishers tripled the amount of time for reading in the elementary school and said they got better results. Well, they may have gotten better results, but that's not the question. How do we get better results in less time? Did the new initiative save time? By the way, time is not saved immediately. It does take time to create dichotomous rubrics. Share them with each other. Learn from each other. Ask the kids if it makes sense. You can adjust them because you're in charge of it. But time is saved over the course of the school year when you assess one trait at a time and use the dichotomous rubrics. Now, how do students know their writing is improving? How do they know they're getting better? How do teachers know the whole class is improving? And then how do we celebrate this improvement? We're going to look at this. First thing is, on the website, when you click on dichotomous rubrics, you will see a blank student run chart for the dichotomous rubric. At the bottom, there's a lot of space. That is for you to write in the trait that's being assessed. And then the students write that in there because each student has their own. This is a student run chart. And then they graph up their score. If they got 3 on the rubric, they would color up to the 3. The next time they do this, it could be the same trait, it could be a new trait. We don't know. But they will have recorded all through the school year. Each time a trait has been assessed, they will know on that trait if they're getting better, and they will know overall if they're an improved writer. But teachers want to know if their class is writing better. How do they know that? It's very simple. This is the dichotomous rubric class run chart. You add up the total. When a teacher's scoring the papers and a student has 4, you put a tally mark by the 4. The next paper you pick up is a 5, you put a tally mark by the 5. The next one's a 2, you put a tally mark by the 2. And give the tally marks to students, and they will add up the total to see how many rubric boards we got as a whole class. They graph it. Right down below the trait, graph it. The class will know, our graph dipped. I wonder why. Oh, well, that trait's the hardest one. We're having a more difficult time with that one than any of the others. Oh, way up. Wow. Well, that was an easy trait. By the way, conventions is going to be one of the traits. The students don't like it when conventions is rolled on the die because they spend a lot of time thinking about the writing and all the teacher's going to score is conventions. The teacher says, I didn't roll the die. You kids rolled it. That's what came up. So the teacher can see, and that's posted on the wall. Kids' work, of course, is not posted on the wall, but the class total is, just like a scoreboard and an athletic event. It's the total for the team. Add it up. And when the students are better than ever before, celebrate. Don't give them donuts. Don't give them cookies. Don't give them popcorn, ice cream. Please do something fun to celebrate. They like it. They like it when the teachers and the students can celebrate together. Instead of the students celebrating by themselves that the exam is over, no, it's the teachers and the students celebrating together. The whole class did better than ever before on writing. Students can learn far more than we ever expected. We know that. The question is, what do we do? I hate to hear how much time teachers are spending on the weekend scoring papers. It's not a good use of your time. Now, I understand that when it gets time for the 9-week report card, you're probably going to spend time looking at all the traits on one paper for the students. You're going to do that. But all through the time, no, you're not going to do that, except maybe once a quarter, you're going to look at all of the traits at the same time. Remember, there is setup time, creating the dichotomous rubrics, going on the website, printing out the blank graphs, but the aim is better results in less teacher time and less classroom time. The dichotomous rubrics, again, reminding, discussed during today's presentation, are available to download on our website, crazysimpleeducation.com. Scroll down just a little bit under blank graphs